What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy MXDL. This is how it's going down. Where my ladies at, man? Like, the numbers of ladies watching my videos have gone down, so I want to see more females watching my stuff.
Stephen, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I having money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
Anyway, looking at the markets, we can see here Bitcoin and overall crypto markets are doing quite well over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin's up 3.6%, sorry. Ethereum's up 2%. Polkadot up 1.6, so not massive moves, but you know, at least we've moved in an upwards direction. Looking at the biggest gainers, we have coins that I'm not aware of. I'm aware of Elrond, so they have had a quite significant move, as well as Blockstacks, and also Celsius as well. If you guys don't know about Celsius, I recommend you check them out. They are quite similar to Crypto.com in terms of their features, but yeah, definitely good look. Looking at the biggest losers, not much, but Leo token, which I don't know what this is. If this is a Leonardo DiCaprio token or something, I have no idea. Market cap for it is quite big actually, billion. I have to look into it. DFI money down 6%. Overall, not too much losses. So we'll be talking about Tesla today. We'll be talking about the overall cryptocurrency space, and then we'll be doing some TA on Zilliqa, and then also Digibyte as well. You know how it goes, guys. Let's get into the video. So looking at Tesla, so basically been a very good 24 hours for Tesla in my opinion. Tesla's is surged 11% because of a Goldman Sachs report that claims that the downloads for Tesla have gone up, and this is both in China and both in the USA. But not just that, we've seen the overall markets go up. So the Nasdaq, as you can see here, it's gone up. It's had a recovery in the last couple of weeks or so. The markets have declined, and that was both for traditional markets as well as the cryptocurrency space, as well as gold as well. So now that we've seen a pump from the Nasdaq, all the other markets are doing quite well. So everything is linked, unfortunately. I wish crypto could just be separated, but it's not. But anyway, just going over this quickly. Basically, Goldman Sachs highlighted that the most recent full week of data shows that year-over-year growth for Tesla was at 20% for its global app downloads, which is very good to see. And I think this will just continue to happen. There's more Tesla news that we'll get into, a bit of billionaire beef, but we'll be talking about that a bit later. So just to quote, or just to read this quote, Tesla's deliveries tend to be back-end weighted in part because in a given quarter, the company typically starts building cars that have to be delivered the farthest away first, and this results in a lot of deliveries occurring in the final month of the quarter, Goldman Sachs explained. So, this is quite an intelligent approach to take, as opposed to them having to, struggle to meet their deadlines and whatnot. It's quite smart for them, so it's interesting to see how their performance is playing out. So this is just a chart giving you the moving average of the average Tesla downloads. Now obviously during the COVID crash, whole markets basically for summer the whole markets crashed, and this is reflected in Tesla app downloads. You can see here from around March, February until now there was like negative growth. There were still people downloading the app, but obviously people lost their jobs and whatnot. Excuse me, guys. It's good to see that the upward trend is now continuing. Just to read the article a bit more, so the growth in Tesla app downloads year to date is primarily being driven by customers in the US and in China, while year-over-year growth in downloads is being driven by customers in China. Goldman Sachs maintained its neutral rating of $295 as a price target, and Tesla shares recently hit a high of $413.24, which is up 11%. So I don't understand why all these people are so bearish on Tesla. I don't really, rather than say the company is overvalued, which it may be, why not just show the guy some support and just try to help him build his vision for the world. Some of the stuff he's doing is a bit wild, Neuralink and whatnot, but like Tesla's basically trying to better the world. So I don't understand why people are saying it's so widely undervalued. And regardless of people saying that it's so undervalued, the stock continues to perform and outperform all of these people's predictions. So like, to be honest, next time Tesla has a little dip, I'm gonna get in on it, because like this company just continues to defy odds. So it's silly to bet against it, in my opinion. So that's that article. Next bit of news we have, I'm not gonna go over this much because the narrative isn't that good. It's basically about some guy's personal life, but basically Tesla, they need to make improvements to their 12V batteries. Essentially, in countries like, in the states like Florida, you've seen the battery, basically be fried by the sun. So Elon Musk has basically just said that, he couldn't agree more, and that major software improvements are already in place to extend the life of, the battery. So that's good to see that Elon Musk has acknowledged that, and he's definitely addressing it. Next piece of news for Tesla, we have Bill Gates and Elon Musk having a bit of billionaire beef, which I would I'd love to see. I wish Bill Gates had Twitter so they could tweet back and forth. But basically, Elon Musk tells Bill Gates that he has no clue about electric cars after Microsoft founder played down Tesla's future. So just looking at this article really quick, Elon Musk has said that Bill Gates has no clue about electric vehicles following the Microsoft founder's disparaging comments in a recent blog. In a post last month, Bill Gates said that he was not confident in the development of electric transport, which, like, when you find out more about what Bill Gates is saying, it's just dumb. It's so dumb. Like, you're stupid. Like, you're so smart, but you're so stupid at the same time, man. You bloody live in oxymoron. Anyway, so even if we develop cheap long-range EVs that are powered by zero carbon sources, electrification isn't an option for many types of transportation. While I somewhat agree with Bill Gates here, I feel like in order for climate change to be addressed, we have no other option. So even if it's like we incorporate electrification, and I don't know, if we can like somewhat harness, I don't know, like nuclear power to sort of enhance batteries, or I don't know, but like we have to sort of figure out, because we have no choice. We can't continue to use all of these fossil fuels. But to continue reading the quote, he said, "The more weight you try to move, the more batteries you need to power the vehicle. But the more batteries you use, the more weight you need to add, and the more power you need." So he thinks that it's a never-ending cycle. But Elon Musk tends to disagree. Even with big breakthroughs in battery technology, electric vehicles will probably never be a practical solution for things like 18-wheelers, cargo ships, and passenger jets. Electricity works when you need to cover short distances, but we need a different solution for heavy, long-haul vehicles. So, like, to be honest, I don't know what this guy's talking about, man. Like, I swear Tesla just came up with not the Tesla truck, but there was another model, the Tesla. I'll put something on the screen, but yeah, essentially Tesla, I believe in them. Basically, Bill Gates has praised companies including GM, Ford, Rivian, and Bollinger, but he did not mention Tesla once in his post, which I just think is like retarded. I'm sorry, but like Tesla is the leading market leader for EVs, and he's praising all these companies that are trying to chase Tesla. Like, they're so far behind. They're 5 years, even a decade behind Tesla's work and progress and technology, but he's praising them. Like, in my opinion, I think he's a bit misinformed there. So on Twitter, when asked by a user about Bill Gates' thoughts, Elon Musk wrote that he has no clue, which I happen to agree with. So that's Tesla's news for the days, guys. We'll be looking at some crypto news now. And so basically, you guys know about MicroStrategy. Last month, they bought around $250 million worth of Bitcoin as their reserve cash for their company, and they did let shareholders know, as well as the SEC, and now it looks like they are planning to buy more. And why, do you wonder? Well, we'll get into that a bit later on in the video, in a couple articles down. But basically, last month they bought 21,454 Bitcoin, which is just under $230 million of Bitcoin, just because the price has gone down. And yeah, this was like a signal, according to this article, to other companies that Bitcoin is a safe haven asset. And it's not just them, it's other investors like Paul Tudor Jones, former employee at I believe it was Goldman Sachs, Raul Powell. He has his own YouTube channel, you should check it out, it's Real Vision. He is also quite heavy in the crypto space. People like Mike Novogratz, Dan Held as well, although he's a Bitcoin maximalist, and you don't want to be like that because those people are they're very tribalistic. Anyway, next piece of news. So we have Facebook's stable coin Libra. So if you guys don't know, Facebook have been trying to make a cryptocurrency for the longest, but they've had some hiccups. So EU ministers are now demanding that stablecoin rules could potentially stifle Facebook's Libra. So essentially what Facebook are planning to do is they're planning to help the unbanked. However, there are many different cryptocurrency projects and initiatives that are aiming to solve this problem. Projects such as Zilliqa and others, not to get into all of the different names and whatnot. But basically, the EU, they want to make sure that the price of any stablecoin is very stable, and because of these restrictions and regulations, it's slowing down Facebook's progress in order to make their cryptocurrency. But to be honest, I don't think they should have cryptocurrency, because it would give them way too much power. Like, they already have like trillion or billions of people's worth of data, and now they want to have they want to bank the world. Like, that's just too much. They should take a chill pill. But I guess people at Facebook are very domineering, and they look to conquer pretty much, because honestly I don't think they're gonna give up. They're just persistent. It's like, I heard about Facebook's Libra I think 3 years ago, and ultimately they're still at it. So I mean, they probably will get or desired outcome, but ultimately I'm not too keen on this, to be honest, because it just gives them way too much power, in my opinion. But yeah, because of the difficulties that Facebook have gone through, we've seen companies that were once linked to the project, such as Visa and MasterCard. They've also also PayPal as well, they were linked. They've now quit the project and are looking to do independent things. You've seen in the past companies like PayPal say that they're going to get into crypto payments, and there's been several different movements by Visa and MasterCard offering cryptocurrency cards, like the crypto.com card that wouldn't be possible without companies like Visa and MasterCard. So they're sort of taking their steps towards getting exposure towards the cryptocurrency space, which is good to see. And the cryptocurrency space is not going anywhere, guys. Like, if you believe in financial revolution and just overall the progress of humanity, then you would definitely believe in cryptocurrency. So now apparently it's time for the Bitcoin price to go up, according to Plan B and his stock to flow model. So just looking at the article here and the chart, we can see here the white line represents the sort of fair value of the Bitcoin price, and roughly when the line goes vertical, that's around each halving sort of thing. We've just had the halving, what was it, this line here, and ultimately we've started putting in our red dots, and the most recent red dot we've had has been below the previous one. However, we are still in an upward trend, I believe, and in the upcoming, I think 18 months or so, that's when we expect the Bitcoin price to start performing. Well, that's what Plan B expects anyway. But just to read the article quickly, and just to say, guys, there are different stock to flow models. There's this normal stock to flow model, which just gives you the historical price data of Bitcoin and its expected price in the future. And then there's also the stock to flow X, which considers macro factors and other markets and industries such as diamonds, gold, real estate, and other different global markets, and how much of that money would trickle down into the Bitcoin price, you know, when people essentially start to FOMO in. But yeah, just to go over the article quickly, you know, Plan B, he's been quite bullish on the price of Bitcoin. He's been like, you know, the forefather. He's like the Jesus of crypto, basically. And his stock to flow X model predicts that Bitcoin will hit $288,000 by 2024, so in the next 4 years. You know, since the May halving, Bitcoin has put in red dots on the model, which have run to expectations, if not in a familiar fashion to what happened after the 2016 halving. So could it be that we, you know, have an exact replication of what happened 4 years ago? If so, that would be lovely, because, you know, God knows I need to come up, man. I ain't lying. So that's that bit of news. Next piece of news that we have. So Chainlink is going to start supplying data to crypto.com, meaning that, you know, we will have better price feeds for our, you know, our app, and which is, I like the transparency. However, this, you know, this, like, it's interesting to know that they've gone with Chainlink as opposed to, you know, a competitor such as Band Protocol, because apparently Chainlink's price data, you know, is quite expensive. And I believe Band would be an alternative, but I guess, you know, different companies have different budgets and whatnot. So I guess, you know, Chainlink have the best Oracle data, and, you know, I'm all for accuracy and, you know, being the best you can be. But just to go over the, you know, the news quickly, it said that the Hong Kong-based payment card and wallet provider said that on Monday, Chainlink's price reference data, its decentral Oracle network, had been plugged directly into the DeFi wallet, giving users ready access to the price feeds. So I like that transparency. And essentially, Crypto.com said the integration meant that users would receive highly accurate and transparent prices on all assets supported in the wallet. So we'll start to see that. I have noticed, you know, in the past months or so, whenever I look at the prices on the Crypto.com app and, you know, other markets like, you know, like TradingView or even CoinGecko.com, or, you know, whichever exchange it is, I have noticed, you know, price fluctuations and, you know, differences. So it would be nice to see one overall price that, you know, is accurate. Next piece of news, and nearly at the end of the video, we can see that, you know, you can now buy a private jet with Bitcoin. So a Bitcoin whale, or even whales, you know, have used Bitcoin to purchase private jets. So one aircraft comes at the cost of roughly 3,750 Bitcoin, which is that's good to see. You know, over time, I do believe that more and more, you know, different assets will be purchasable by Bitcoin. You know, things like houses, and who knows, you know, maybe even stock one day. Maybe Bitcoin becomes, you know, the world reserve national currency, which I would love to see, but who knows. And yeah, looking at the chart, we have the Bitcoin futures chart here. So we have not closed the Bitcoin CME gap, and, you know, I don't know if we will. You know, ultimately it's not a necessity. People are, you know, losing their minds thinking, oh yeah, we need to close the CME gap, which we have done historically. But if you think about it, we haven't always, like, you know, closed the CME gap. Like, there's been a CME gap here, which we didn't necessarily close per se. Like, you know, it's just, I don't know, there's a theory going around that we don't necessarily close the CME gap, and that it's just, you know, the volatility of Bitcoin, and, you know, it just tends to do whatever, and then coincidentally it surpasses the CME gap, and we think, oh, it's closed, which I would somewhat happen to agree with. You know, like, looking here, there's a CME gap here, there's a CME gap here. Like, there's so many CME gaps, and, you know, like, that theory of, yeah, we always close the CME gap, I just think that's just a bit of crap, to be honest. Because, like, why didn't we close this? Like, you know, why didn't we close this? Why didn't we close this? Like, I don't know. I know we said we covered Zilliqa. Oh my god, Zilliqa. Sorry, that's and Digibyte. So let me just go over those quickly. So looking at Zilliqa on the USD chart, we can see here that we are still in somewhat of a bearish trend. However, we have found support here at this horizontal line here at the 0.015 cent mark, which is good to see. If we can have, maybe one more bounce of it in, the upcoming hours or so, and then start to, go past the 10-day and 20-day EMA, I would hope to see, the TSI tick bullish, which it is tempting to do. It's flirting with the idea. Ultimately, these two lines are hopefully about to converge and start ticking upwards. But ultimately, that's not a guarantee. It may just possibly just go sideways for upcoming weeks or so before it then decides to break past the several different lines of resistance that we have. Previously, I did think that we were creating a cup and handle, which was the case, but then we did see a market crash, which sort of defunct that formation, and which isn't the end of the world, to be honest. We are still fairly bullish. We are setting higher highs on the macro level. If you to zoom out on the weekly chart, we are setting higher highs, which is good to see. But ultimately, by the end of the year, we do need to break past this 3-year long-term resistance line. Otherwise, it would be a bit of a worry for Zilliqa. However, I do think that with global markets being strong at the moment, and if the Fed continues to print money as they have been and support the markets, then ultimately it will be inevitable before Zilliqa and all these other different coins do start to perform like we want them to. But it's a waiting game. It's about hedging your bets, being diversified. You guys know the spiel. So that's Zilliqa. We can have a look at the 4-hourly real quick. So yeah, this line is being respected. On the 4-hourly, we have somewhat ticked bullish. The 10-day EMA and the 20-day EMA have flipped, and now they are in an upwards trend. On the TSI, we are in an upwards movement. However, we have had a bit of a retracement, but ultimately I would like to see us respect this horizontal line of resistance, and then start to tick upwards until this higher price target of around 0.017, which is where the VPR shows the most trading volume. And that would be in an ideal scenario. Could we have a pullback? Possibly. I don't think we will, but I'm not a financial advisor, and who knows what's going to happen with the global markets. We do know that there is an upcoming election. Trump is a madman. Like, this guy, I don't know how his PR team works, but like, he's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Like oh my days, like, politics is crazy, man. Like, this guy's inciting bloody civil war, and because he gets a couple Arabs to agree to a deal, they're trying to say that like he should have a Nobel Peace Prize. Can you fuck off? Please get out of my face with that shit, man. So looking at the weekly chart for Zilliqa, as you can see here, like I said, we are setting higher highs. We are making a upwards trend like so. And ultimately, I would expect us to somewhat respect this. Maybe, bounce around like so in, this sort of, these two, trend lines and resistance lines before having a breakout or even possibly a retracement, then having a breakout. But yeah, just keep an eye on Zilliqa. You can see here on the weekly that we are very much in a bullish zone for the TSI. We have had these two lines cross over, and it may indicate a slight decline in the price action. However, the more you zoom out, the more relevant the price data becomes, and ultimately this could possibly have a retracement, but there is a lot of room for the upside. Like, this is only ticking 29 on the TSI, so it could go all the way up back to around 40 where it was previously. But yeah, just keep an eye on that, guys. And lastly, we'll have a look at Digibyte. Yeah, so ultimately for Digibyte, we have seen a fat retracement, a very fat retracement, and this is on the weekly chart. From here there is a lot more room for the upside, because ultimately we've had our local low for the summer and the recent weeks or so. So I would like to see us respect this long-term resistance line as such. In terms of price, Zilliqa, it's had most of its trading volume according to the VPVR at this current level, which was around the 0.022 cent mark. And ultimately, it tends to not consistently go up. It will sort of, as you can see here, it's like a zigzag sort of pattern. So if it respects this trend line, which I hope it does, then in the upcoming weeks or so, we would hope to see Digibyte hopefully retesting some of its recent highs, but that depends on global markets. Ultimately I do believe that we are about to see a trend reversal. The 10-day and 20-day EMA have ticked bullish since the end. Sorry, the 10-day and 20-day have ticked bearish since the end of August, but we're starting to see that trend somewhat reverse, as this Fibonacci retracement level is now being respected and we are ticking sideways, as well as the 10-day EMA starting to go horizontal. So I would hope that in the next couple days and weeks that this starts to flip the 20-day EMA, and then the price action is above both moving averages as well as our resistance and Fibonacci retracements. Similarly, the TSI starting to tick bullish as well. Both lines are indicating a trend reversal and the bearish trend coming to an end, as we've seen horizontal movement. So I would start to become more bullish on Digibyte in the upcoming weeks. So guys, stack them sats. That's been the video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, subscribe if you're new or old, and yeah, have a good day. Bye bye.